Okay, we're going to do a bit of an update. So here's the two vehicles, obviously. I've gotten a shelter set up because here in Washington it rains all the time. And I was so tired of waiting for the sun to be out, like I said, and I just want to get it done. The problem is I don't want to get water all over my tools, and I don't want to get water all over the engines and all of the stuff that I'm working on, and I don't generally just want to be wet and cold. It's like, I don't know, it's something like 45 degrees out right now. If you get all wet, that's pretty cold. So I've gotten the engine and transmission out of this one completely. As you can see, I've got the transmission laying there, and I've got the engine on the engine stand back there. Then I'm working on and almost done with getting the engine out of this one. I'm pulling this one more apart just so that I have less issues. I didn't really care with that one as much, but if the body got messed up at all or damaged or any of that. But I do care about this one because this is the one I'm going to be driving now. I am going to be taking the distributor off of this one, or the distributor cap off of this one at least, because I need it. I did take off the water block in the back because that was something that was already damaged on that one before, and I think I did more damage to it when I was pulling it out because I wasn't paying attention, but that's okay. Yeah, like I messed this one up, and I messed this one up too. But like I said, it didn't matter because this was already bad to begin with. So I went ahead and took the water block, which I don't know where I set it. I set it somewhere. I took the water block off of that one. Oh, I set it over here on top. Right here, so all the plugs are intact. Even this plug is intact, which I didn't use before. You can see there, I wasn't using before, but that plug's intact. I'm probably still not going to use it. I don't know. It is intact, so I might. It is a fuel vacuum, or temperature vacuum for fuel. I'm not using the evap system, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I need to do a little bit more research into that. I didn't use it last time because it had gotten broken, or it was already broken by the time I got to it. But it's intact, so I need to look into it and see if the evap system requires that or not, or if not using the evap system, if that will even be, usable or not, or useful at all. But this is where I'm at so far. I've gotten the exhaust unbolted down there, so it'll slip off at the time. I did not get that last time, and I ended up having to cut that because I couldn't get to the bolts the right way. But I was able to get it this time, so that exhaust will come right off, and I'll drop that whole exhaust system and have that separately. I have already taken the alternator off, got the power steering pump disconnected, the AC lines out. I've got the intake off, the water block on the back off. I'm going to be I've got the clutch and the EGR system, the clutch line mount and the EGR completely taken out. And I need to disconnect the drive shafts. I need to drop the transmission mount, and I need to disconnect the engine mounts here. So let's go through the checklist. What else do I need to do? Drive shafts, transmission mount, engine mounts. I think that's all I have left. Oh, I need to disconnect the clutch line as well. I am replacing this clutch line, so with a Marlin crawler steel braided clutch line. So I'm going to figure out how that's mounted later. But for now, I'm just going to disconnect it here and keep this whole bracket and everything have it come out with the engine. So it's just going to be this bracket and this hard line here that'll be left. And I'm going to I may not use the Marlin crawler one because I'm thinking about replacing that hard line as well. So everything from that point all the way down to the clutch with the steel braided line. I'm thinking about doing that instead. So we'll see how that goes, but I may just get the Marlin crawler steel braided line that replaces this rubber line here. Because if you look here really closely, I don't know if you can see it with the light, let's see. Focus, come on. There, you can see how it's like cracked and corroded. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that since I'm gonna have it all out anyway. I think that's everything I need left to disconnect in order to pull this engine. So that'll be happening here in the next hour or so. I will get all of the transmission components dropped. Oh, that's another thing. I need to go inside because unlike the automatic, where I can leave the shifter cable in place, I need to go in and pull out the shifters so I can from the top. So I need to get in there and do that, which might be what I decide to do next, is pull the shifters. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that next. Something off the ground. As you can see, this wet ground is left over from before I put this tarp up last night, and it still hasn't dried, obviously, because it's cold and it takes time to dry. But I've got my pad that I can lay on so I don't get all wet from underneath there. But this tarp is working out perfectly. Put the tires up there just to keep it so I can keep my head distance away from it so I can get up underneath here. I think the cherry picker might hit it when I pick the engine up, but we'll see how that goes. I don't really care if it does touch it. It's not like it's gonna cause a problem, but I don't think it's high enough for the cherry picker, but we'll see. So yeah, I think those are the only 4 things I need left: the shifters, the drive shafts, the transmission mount, and the engine mounts. I think that's all I have left before I can pull this. I am going to pull this off before I pull it out because I don't want any damage to happen to it. But other than that, I mean, that's 3 screws. So that's, you know, literally less than a minute to get this off. But that's about it. So just wanted to give you guys a little update. This is the next weekend, obviously, that I'm posting this video. Last weekend I got all that rest of that stuff done, pulling that whole engine out, getting some of this work done on this one, and then this weekend I wasted all of yesterday. Didn't waste, but I didn't use yesterday working on the vehicle. I went out with the family. So today I got out here, did a couple hours worth of work so far, and this is where I'm at now. Hopefully, I can tell you right now, by the end of this weekend, I will have this engine bay completely cleaned up, that engine harness off, this engine harness off, because I am going to just swap the engine harnesses, because this is the manual transmission engine harness and that's an automatic transmission engine harness. So I am going to swap the engine harnesses because I just don't want the extra cable. I don't know if there is a problem with using the automatic harness in here, because I know all of the plugs are the same on the inside of the truck. All the plugs are the same to the ECU and to the 2 main connectors in there. However, there's a bunch of extra connectors that come off of, maybe not a bunch, but there are several extra connectors that come off of the automatic transmission harness for the automatic transmission. And I don't want to mess with that. I don't care to look into the wiring because I have this harness intact. None of the plugs are broken. And so I'm just going to go ahead and switch this over. And that'll be that. So thanks for watching. Like if you like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Thanks. Bye.